Everyone, thank you for joining us today. Please have a seat. Thank you. Welcome to AltaSea at the Port of Los Angeles. I'm Mike Jacob, the president of the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association. We'd like to have folks take their seats so we can start. Thank you. Before we begin, we have a few housekeeping items. If people can silence your cell phones, and want to let you know restrooms are located at the north end of the building. And before we start, I'd like to welcome Port Police Officer Travis Zobish, who will provide a brief safety overview. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Good morning. For your safety, please listen carefully to the following instructions. If there is an emergency and you are asked to evacuate, please follow the instructions of the uniformed officers. They will direct you out of the building if necessary. Please silence all electronic devices. Please refrain from blocking exits. We will also request that during the event that all conversations be kept to a minimum so as not to disrupt the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Zobish. I'd like to start by welcoming some of the distinguished guests we have here today, starting with the Harbor Commissioner from the Port of Los Angeles. We're honored to have with us Commission President Lucille Roybal-Allard. Commission President. And Commissioner Lee Williams. Commissioner Yolanda De La Torre. And Commissioner Renwick and Commissioner Perez could not be with us today, but thank them for their support as always. From the City of Los Angeles, we're also grateful to be joined by Los Angeles Chief of Police Jim McDonnell, Los Angeles Fire Chief Jamie Moore, Deputy Mayor Rachel Freeman, and the Executive Director of the Civil and Human Rights and Equity Department, Capri Maddox. Thank you, Ms. Maddox. It's also my pleasure to introduce LA City Council member Tim McOsker, who represents the LA City Council District 15. And also, we have several members of the international diplomatic community with us today. From the Consulate of Croatia, Consul General Rene Peja. From the Consulate of Finland, Consul General Minna Laijava. From the Consulate of Italy, Consul General Raffaella Valentini. And from the Consulate of Romania, Consul General Lucia Sava. Thank you all. We're very honored to have you with us today. And it's my pleasure to introduce to the stage, without further ado, LA City Council member Tim McOsker.
Hello, everybody. How are you? This is fantastic. I haven't been in a room this crowded since the last McOsker Thanksgiving. This is amazing. It is so great. Tim McOsker, councilman of the 1-5, from Watts to the waterfront. And it is really an honor to have so many parts of my life converge right now. To be at AltaSea at the Port of Los Angeles, where I was able to serve for a little while as CAO, is just fantastic. Let's hear it for AltaSea for having us in this room today. And to be with my friends sitting with the PMSA, I'm very, very grateful always for the invitation. Let's thank PMSA. And to be raising money for, because you're doing a lot of great, good things today. You're participating in your community and the infrastructure of this port. You're hearing about our past year. You're hearing about our next year and all of the great goals that we will achieve together. But we're also supporting a couple of great organizations. We all know EXP. EXP has been a constant part of this organization. Let's hear it for EXP that does such a great job of training the next generation of folks in logistics, in the water, in the blue economy. They do a great job of preparing our youth. And new to this event is the Toberman Community Center. Let's hear it for the Toberman Community Center, or when I was a kid, the Toberman Settlement House. And it has a special place in my heart because I was a Toberman kid myself, where my mom brought all 6 of us one by one to what is basically Mommy and Me classes. They call it child observation at the very site where Toberman has its main facility in San Pedro. But I do want to call out especially because we're less familiar in this setting with Toberman than with EXP, who does a great job, by the way. Did I say that already? Yes. Toberman does so many things for our community, and everything from food security to education to daycare, and also has a very, very important role in the 1-5 for safety and security, for community safety in San Pedro, in Harbor City, in Wilmington, in the Gateway, and the work that they do to make sure that our youth are safe and that we work parallel to our public safety officers is vitally important. So I want to say right here as your council person, I want to thank Toberman for all of their work in community. Let's thank them again. Of course, I'm really honored to welcome you to the 1-5. Many of you work, live, and play in the 1-5, but I'm always happy to welcome you here. And it's always my honor to hear from our executive director, Gene Soroka, who will tell us about all of the great work over the past year and all of the great work that we're going to be doing again together in the coming year as we continue to move goods, as we continue to keep folks employed, as we continue to clean up our environment and create economic value right here locally as well as internationally. I will only take one example of something that I saw this year that I thought was just remarkable, and it showed how when we all come together we can do great things. And it might be in Gene's speech, it might not be, because there's so many things to discuss. But you all remember right around Thanksgiving when we had the 1 Henry Hudson fire. Does anybody remember that? Now that was an example of a moment when government agencies, local, federal, state, came together. Employers, the terminal operators, the ship owners, the beneficial cargo owners, and labor. We had the longshoremen and the clerks and the walk-in bosses and the ship scalers who all came together and did absolutely heroic work that was really obvious to the world for a few days and less obvious over the last few weeks. And I'm happy to say that yesterday, the 1 Henry Hudson left the port of Los Angeles safe and sound. And let's hear it for all of the folks that worked on that. Anyway, this is a little longer than a welcome because I'm just so excited to have you here at Alta Sea. I'm so excited to have you in the 1-5. I'm so glad to be with you in such a big, warm, beautiful environment. I want to thank the Port of Los Angeles for always including me in all of these activities. I want to thank PMSA, and I want to wish you a happy and healthy lunch. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would love to introduce our next member, our next speaker, who is going to come in presently, which is the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, Madam Mayor Karen Bass. As many of you know, Madam Mayor is just been a phenomenal leader, and we cannot thank you enough for all of the work you've done in the last year bringing parties together, bringing together the environmental community, the leadership of our industry, the ports of LA and Long Beach, and the mayor of Long Beach, Rex Richardson, to really get to the bottom of how we're going to tackle environmental investment moving forward in Southern California. And Madam Mayor, we want to thank you for your leadership and thank you for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here. Come on. Good afternoon. Need a little feedback here. It's my pleasure to join you again as we celebrate America's Port. And I will tell you that this area should be so proud to have a leader. I was listening to you, Councilman, because he is an incredible representative on the City Council for this district, as he's taught all of us about the 1-5. And I just appreciate working with you and appreciate your leadership, and we need to give him a round of applause. Let me also acknowledge our port commissioners, but especially my former colleague in Congress and now the president of the Port Commission, Lucille Roybal-Allard. Thank you. And I want to thank the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association for helping make today happen and ensuring that we can continue to hold this great event. And as I am told, this is the largest one ever. A huge thank you to EXP and our new nonprofit partner, Toberman Neighborhood Center, for using the state of the port as a launching pad to invest in the next generation of maritime workforce. For more than 2 decades, the Port of Los Angeles has been the busiest container port in North America, constantly maintaining an efficient, sustainable supply chain, delivering for Angelenos, Americans, and the entire world. And I say that everywhere I go, because a lot of people don't realize outside of our world here the significance of our port. And this year was no different than the port reaching major sustainability milestones and the processing of a record number of pieces of cargo. Despite uncertainty and global instability regarding changing tariff policies, the port stood strong, rising to the occasion and meeting this moment. This past summer, I spoke with key figures at the port, labor leaders, and major harbor business groups, making it clear that my administration and City Hall would stand with the port and keep Los Angeles open for business regardless of the uncertainty from Washington. July set the record as the busiest month in the 118th year history for the port, with more than 1 million pieces of cargo being handled by the port. So can we give a round of applause to all of our incredible port and dock workers for achieving this milestone? And even through adversity, in November of last year, I was at the port during the container ship fire that impacted so much of our harbor community. And I think it was after a few weeks with our great fire chief, Jaime Moore. That was, I think, maybe it was your first disaster. It was 1 week. Okay, 1 week on the duty. But of course, you rose to the occasion, and we were able to contain that and protect the community. So I want to thank the members of the U.S. Coast Guard, LAFD, LAPD, and I see our great chief over there, Jim McDonald. Thank you for being here. Port Police Chief, see you there as well. And Port leadership for working around the clock to keep Angelenos informed and safe, ensuring that above all, we lead with public safety in mind. But events like last year shows why the world turns to the Port of LA, because they know LA is ready, prepared, and has the best workers in the supply chain. To all of our supply chain workers, you are the reason this is America's port, and the work you do day in and day out ensures that LA remains open for business. Many across the country may not know it, but it is because of you that presents were under the Christmas trees, store shelves are stocked, and Americans have access to the basic essentials they need on a daily basis. So I am thankful for all of our dock workers, especially the dedicated union members of the ILWU. So let's give the ILWU a round of applause. And I remember being here. I first joined Altasea for their grand opening in May of 2024, another great project of our councilman before he joined the council. And I was amazing to come back last summer and meet with environmental leaders and climate researchers and learn more about how the port is building and creating a sustainable future and training the next generation to take up the challenge. So there's no better example of creating an environmental legacy than the ports of LA and Long Beach working along with the South Coast Air Quality Management District, approving the historic cooperative agreement after many, many years. We finally got that done. And just think, in a few short years, 2 to be exact, we will have the Olympic and Paralympic Games. And with major economic opportunities from these global events, I'm proud that the port will be hosting sailing, and that was no small effort, was it, Councilman? But you stood strong, and we will have an Olympic venue here that was not supposed to happen. So, let me just say that we are all so fortunate to have the leader that we have at the port, Jean Soroka. Jean, your leadership, your steadfast leadership and dedication to the men and women who work here is inspiring. Your ability to bring together the world, really, large coalitions of unions, businesses, international representatives, and community members is crucial to our work, steering Los Angeles in a new direction. But I just have to say, when everybody around the country was sure that the uncertainty, are we having tariffs, aren't we having tariffs, your steady leadership, because you said, as I was, of course, very nervous about it, it's going to be okay. And it was. And not only did we make it through that uncertainty, but we soared. And so I really have to give it to you and say we are very blessed, not just in our city, but in our country, to have a leader like Jean Soroka leading our port. So thank you. Thank you very much. And let me just thank everyone here for your flexibility and understanding. I am at a meeting for the Metro where we were voting on important projects, but I had to leave that for just a few minutes to come here and share a few words with you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and now I'm going back to a very, very long meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Madam Mayor. We really appreciate you taking the time today to do it and to be here with us down in San Pedro. As your lunch is being served, we'd like to highlight why we're here today, and you heard from Councilmember McOsker about how important these nonprofit partners are to our community. But we'd like to recognize the Toberman Neighborhood Center and EXP. This is the first year that Toberman Center is our nonprofit partner, but it's served San Pedro for 125 years, providing youth development and education family support services to this great community. But this will also be the 11th year that we've supported EXP. And we've been able to raise funds for this exceptional industry partner, which works to ensure that students have equal access to this industry and to careers that they might not have even known they had in their future. And we really appreciate that. So we're especially pleased to welcome their CEOs who are here with us today. If you could join me in welcoming Mary Tran, CEO of EXP, and Lupe Rivera, CEO of the Toberman Center. Thank you. Thank you. We would not be able to recognize EXP and Toberman without the help of all of you who are our sponsors today. We have 59 sponsors for this event. It is fantastic and amazing that we have so many folks that are here to help celebrate these two nonprofits and the work that's been done by Gene and his team at the Port of LA this year. And we just want to say a thank you to everyone, but we have a special thank you to Carrick's and their diamond level sponsorship. Thank you to Carrick's. And thank you to our two diamond, our platinum sponsors, the Pacific Companies and Union Pacific. We're going to hear more from Union Pacific in just a second, but let's take a moment for a short video now from the Pacific Companies. Thank you, Pacific Companies. And we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I wanted to extend a special thank you to the teams who made this luncheon possible. I'd like to thank the Port staff in particular for all of their help to help this event run so smoothly. We'd like to thank the staff at Alta Sea. As you guys know, this is our first year at this new venue, and we are very excited to be here and share this venue with you. And just so much thanks to the staff for making this transition really seamless. I'd also like to thank the PMSA Board of Directors, the PMSA staff, and especially Michelle Grubbs and Natasha Villa from our Long Beach office. Thank you very much for putting this together today. And we'd invite you to enjoy your lunch. We'll be right back with the rest of our program shortly. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. People could please take their seats. Thank you very much. We're going to continue the program with a video from our second platinum sponsor, Union Pacific Railroad. If people could please take their seats. Thank you very much. Thank you to UP. Let's go ahead. Thank you.
America's supply chain is the engine of our economy. But in the heartland, freight is stopped in its tracks by an artificial barrier that divides America's rail system between east and west. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are tearing down that barrier and building America's first coast-to-coast railroad. This transformation will give America what most developed nations already have: a transcontinental railroad that enhances competition and serves the public interest, supporting industry, agriculture, communities, and the workforce. A single line that connects nearly every major port, industrial region, and population center in the country. And seamless routes that give customers faster, more predictable service that removes up to 2 days of transit with one contract, one bill, and end-to-end visibility. Making rail a true competitor takes trucks off America's congested highways, reducing wear on taxpayer-funded roads. It removes bottlenecks and interchange delays in markets like Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, and New Orleans. Every weekday in Chicago, over 1,000 trucks move freight within the city from one railroad to the next. A Union Pacific Norfolk Southern combination keeps that freight on rail, a faster, cleaner, and safer alternative. This unified network will unlock growth, strengthening every link in the supply chain by keeping freight seamlessly flowing across the country. Now is the time. America's industrial revolution is back. A coast-to-coast railroad will connect every region, keeping American-made goods moving faster to global markets. And Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern have the strength to build it, an end-to-end combination ready to transform the U.S. supply chain. Along with delivering record service, Union Pacific leads the industry in employee safety, while Norfolk Southern leads in derailment safety. Together, the two railroads will forge the most technologically advanced freight network in North America. And for the people who make it all possible, the promise of growth means the promise of some of the best paid industrial careers in America. Every employee with a union job when this merger is approved will continue to have one. An American transcontinental railroad is a bold idea, but at its heart, it's a simple idea. Keep America connected and keep freight moving for our employees, communities, customers, and nation. The Great Connection.
Thank you, UP. Thank you. We appreciate your sponsorship again of this fantastic luncheon. Thank you very much. People could please take their seats and help me in joining our next presenter to the stage. Our next presenter is Uffe Østegård, the Chief Executive Officer of Carrick, the parent company of SSA Marine and Tideworks Technology. Uffe brings more than 30 years of experience in the container shipping industry. He spent his first 2 decades with Maersk, including leadership roles in Europe, Africa, and Asia before joining Carrick as CEO in 2023. Carrick and SSA Marine are key partners in keeping cargo moving safely and efficiently around the world. Please join me in welcoming Uffe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Always good to be speaking at a shipping event where people are calm and focused, right? Well, we at Carrick are very honored to be the diamond sponsor of the 11th Annual State of the Port. Those who are not familiar with Carrick, we are one of the largest independent terminal operators. Many will know our activities under the SSA Marine brand. Throughout our 76-year history, we have been dedicated to provide safe, efficient, and sustainable operations. SSA has a deep-rooted history in Southern California across containers, break bulk, cruise, and we also have a very long history with the Port of Los Angeles. For the past 40 years, we've been operating the International Fruit Terminal just next to us here at berth 54 and 55. Last year, in close partnership with the port, we achieved a major milestone by converting the terminal to zero-emission, fully battery electric cargo handling as the first terminal in our 150 terminal operations. Thank you. I would like to thank the Port of Los Angeles, the City of LA, the LA Department of Water and Power, the ILWU, and our many customers for making this possible. Now, Gene and I have known each other for many years, and I admire the clear, the bold vision that Gene has laid down for the port, but more importantly, the ability to enact the changes needed to drive progress. Secondly, I'm grateful for the role Gene has taken, particularly in the past 5 years, to be a voice of reason in our industry, talk facts against fiction when needed, and that is certainly something our industry has needed for the last few years. So now, Gene is a very good friend. I never get to see him anymore because he's a celebrity. So the only two ways I get to do that is either by turning on CNBC in the morning or by writing out a big check and become the diamond sponsor of this event. So with that, let me introduce and welcome to the stage Gene Soroka, the Port Director of LA. Welcome.
Oh man, thank you, Uffe. And thanks to Carrick for being the first ever diamond sponsor. How about it? Seriously, we truly value what Carrick does here in LA and around the world. And in just a bit, I'll be sharing some exciting news about what you're doing right here at home. Wow, look at all of you. More than 930 people today, our biggest audience ever. Here's to you. And it was great to have Mayor Bass back, and her leadership means so much to this port and to this city. It truly is a privilege to serve under her guidance. Thanks again. Mike Jacob and the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association, thank you once again for hosting us. As you stated, this is our 11th edition of the State of the Port. Can you believe how far we've come from that first one? Amazing. And Michelle Grubbs, Natasha Villa, every year you put this thing together, and this one is spectacular. I knew you could fill every seat in this room, and there was never a doubt. Superb job. Thank you. And here's what's most special. Today's proceeds will benefit the two great organizations we've mentioned, EXP and Toberman Neighborhood Center, right here in San Pedro. After today's lunch, we will have raised more than $350,000 for nonprofits in our harbor community. And it's because of your support we made this happen. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and a special welcome to our friend, City Council member of the 1-5, Tim McCosker. And it's because of the work I do that I'm privileged to recognize our harbor commissioners, starting with our president, Lucille Roybal-Allard. Commissioner Yolanda De La Torre. And Commissioner Lee Williams. Along with Vice President John Perez and Ed Renwick, who snuck out a little bit early today. We really appreciate what they do, and thanks to your steady hands and clear sense of purpose, we're able to continue to march on. Thank you. And to my friend, Capri Maddox, the Executive Director at the LA Civil Rights Department. Capri, I appreciate you being here again this year in person, and I am so pleased with all the remarkable work you're doing for our great city. Keep it up. Thank you. Before we go further, let me take a moment to acknowledge the heroic response to the container ship fire this past November. This could have been catastrophic. Instead, all 23 crew members were evacuated safely. Hundreds responded dockside and waterside, from labor crews and firefighters to law enforcement and the United States Coast Guard. The result? 0 fatalities, 0 injuries. Air emissions and water pollution stayed below danger thresholds, and all terminals were fully operational the next morning. It really speaks to the training, expertise, and courage of every hero who answered the call. Let's hear directly from some of them now.
We are following more breaking news, this time from San Pedro, where crews have been battling a stubborn cargo fire at the Port of Los Angeles for several hours now.
It happened around 6:30 p.m. deep below deck on the 1 Henry Hudson.
23 crew members were on board. Everyone was safely evacuated. This is the container ship being moved past the breakwater because of the dangerous conditions on board.
Several agencies were out here fighting this fire, all of them coming out here with multiple resources.
On the evening of Friday, November 21st, we received a variety of calls related to a possible vessel fire on board the ONE Henry Hudson.
You know, you don't hear explosions on ships very much, fires on ship happening very much. First question is, anyone hurt? Emergency response had happened. We had evacuated the terminal.
So early on was identifying, what was burning, getting the right resources in the right place.
The role that the ILW had was making sure that the fire department, the Coast Guard, and the Port Police all knew what type of cargo was on there.
So there were about 2,850 containers, and each one had various contents to include hazardous substances. We also found out that the vessel had about 1 million gallons of fuel and oil products on board. So we used this analysis. We determined the safest thing to do was to move the vessel out to sea. The LA pilots came out, local tugs within the port, and the fire department got their boats on scene, and the boat was escorted from Houston Terminal out to Anchorage G4.
When we were all discussing of why we should move it out of the port was for the safety of the community.
And I was there when those decisions were being made to move the ship out to sea. This was a complex incident that required coordination, training, and excellence from our first responders.
There's jurisdictional things working alongside the Coast Guard, looking at the the operator of the vessel, the terminal, the crew. And when you have these huge, large magnitude incidents like this, it's always nice to see when you get on scene, you recognize people right away.
It was very humbling and amazing to see how many people putting their pretty much lives on the line to protect others.
An incident of this magnitude, not one agency within the city can respond, mitigate, and recover from something like this. When you see something like this come together so effectively with an outcome that's positive, it's incredibly rewarding.
That night everybody can be proud because everybody came together and did what they were supposed to do.
54% of our workers live within 5 miles. 73% live within 10 miles. Us being part of the community and us being part of the solution was a huge accomplishment.
You're just working with top-notch individuals who really care and really have a total understanding of the importance of getting these decisions right and being able to work together as a team. It was an honor to be a part of.
And moving forward, it's made us stronger. It truly has. I mean, the idea that this occurring here and what we were able to do just really demonstrates our ability to collaborate and solve any challenge that comes in the port.
So I want to thank all of those involved for your leadership, the coordination, and the efforts to keep everyone safe at the port and in the surrounding communities. Thank you.
I am so proud of all who worked around the clock to respond to this emergency. Today, on behalf of the port, I'd like to honor that extraordinary service with a very special award. The Angels Gate Lighthouse is the symbolic guardian of our harbor, a beacon of safety that means so much to all of us. It represents home. Today, it recognizes those who protected our home. We're presenting the Guardian of the Harbor Lighthouse Award to the leaders of those agencies who were the first in line to respond. From the Los Angeles City Fire Department, Chief Jaime Moore. From the Los Angeles Police Department, Chief Jim McDonald. From the United States Coast Guard, Captain of the Port, Stacy Creasy. Representing the women and men of the ILWU Locals 13, 63, and 94, President Gary Herrera. Representing the Los Angeles Port Police and the Los Angeles Pilot Service, our own Chief Tom Gazy. Representing the Houston Terminals team who served on the docks through all of this, Houston President and CEO Alan McCorkle. And finally, the courageous crew of the Ocean Network Express Henry Hudson, who reboarded the vessel, moving it out offshore to continue to assist with the firefighting efforts. Accepting the lighthouse on behalf of the crew is the O&E Director of West Coast Operations, Dave Ware. Take a picture over here real quick. Quick picture. Dave, Alan in the back. You want me to do this? Okay, great. Come up a little closer. The marks don't mean anything. Thanks, Tasso. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Great. Exit this way. Or you can go exit that way. Thanks, Gene. Thank you, guys. Thank you all and your organizations for your heroic leadership in our time of need. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. "2025 was a year like no other. from accelerated dips in volume to record highs. It truly was a roller coaster. But at the end of the ride, the Port of Los Angeles moved 10.2 million container units. That's our third best year in history. And I'm proud to say that for the 26th consecutive year, the Port of Los Angeles remains America's busiest container port. Every record set and every bar raised is a direct result of the dedication and commitment of the people who make this port work. To our marine terminal operators and international longshore and warehouse union workers, you are the backbone of this port and its operations. Thank you all. To our ocean carriers, trucking, rail, and all our supply chain partners, you connect us to every corner of the region, nation, and globe. Thank you as well. And to the women and men of the Harbor Department, our own 929 employees who play a crucial role in guiding, planning, and supporting every aspect of this port's operations, thank you. Throughout our 118-year history, not a single year has gone by without headwinds, and not a single year when we haven't risen to the challenge. That's what makes me so proud to be with all of you today, and how fitting to be here at Altasea, a place where the port's past is literally repurposed to imagine its future. You can feel the energy of the docks in and around this warehouse. Terry Tamminen and Jenny Crusoe, thank you for hosting us. A 100 years ago, this building moved cargo. Today, it moves ideas. That transformation didn't happen by accident. It happened because people had the vision and the courage to build for the future. There's a lot of change in our world right now. The global trade map is being redrawn. Shifting trade policies are creating uncertainty and volatility, and the maritime supply chain is at the center of it all. But here's what hasn't changed. Cargo remains the lifeblood of the U.S. economy. American farmers, manufacturers, retailers, and consumers all depend on how we move that cargo. And that means we, this port, must be ready for whatever is coming. To retain our place as America's port and to meet the demands of tomorrow, we must build bigger and we must build smarter. Bigger capacity, smarter technology, and increased sustainability. That's our charge. That's our commitment. And today I want to show you exactly how we're doing it. Let me start with building bigger. There's no better example than the proposed Pier 500 Marine Container Terminal, the first new container terminal to be developed here in a generation. We envision a bold expansion, 200 acres, 3,000 linear feet of wharf space to create vital, new capacity. In October, we released a request for proposals to evaluate the interest and feasibility. The beauty of this project? Much of the underwater foundation is already complete, thanks to the foresight of port staff more than 2 decades ago. They saw what we would need, and they built for it. Now, with cargo demand expected to grow in the decades ahead, we have a ready-made opportunity right in front of us. And we're aiming high. We want this to be the greenest, cleanest, new-build terminal in the world. This would expand our capacity to handle next-generation cargo ships, improve both efficiency and sustainability. It'll also create jobs right here on the docks and many more across the supply chain. It's an investment in our workforce, in sustainability, resilience, innovation, and in keeping America's port ready for the opportunities of tomorrow. Building bigger only works if we're also building smarter, and that means driving operational efficiency across everything we do. Take the Maritime Support Facility we're developing on 80 acres of underutilized land right in the middle of Terminal Island. Now, in the design stage, it'll serve as a dedicated hub for chassis parking and maintenance, as well as container pickup and drop-off. Think of it as a pressure relief valve during peak cargo periods, keeping containers from stacking up on terminals. It'll also improve operations for drivers and terminals alike and help freight flow smoothly through America's port. These next projects show how building bigger and building smarter work together. On Pier 300, in addition to the on-dock rail expansion currently underway, we're in final discussions with Phoenix Marine Terminal to develop 40 acres that currently sit vacant on the east side of the terminal. This would be home to another berth and backlands, increasing efficiency at Phoenix by 1/3. And soon, we'll be issuing an environmental impact report for the LA-TIL container terminal in the West Basin, a project that would upgrade wharf and rail to accommodate larger ships. So let's add all this up. Pier 500, the Maritime Support Facility, major expansions at Phoenix and LA-TIL. Imagine the impact these 4 projects alone could have. Better yet, take a look right now. Another essential part of building smarter is the Vincent Thomas Bridge. As most of you know, the bridge needs redecking to make it safer for the 50,000 vehicles that cross it daily. But here's the bigger issue. We also need to raise it or replace it to unlock our full capacity north of the bridge. We pushed to do both together, and that simply didn't work on a timeline basis. But the issue is not going away. A bridge built for yesterday's ships cannot be an obstacle for tomorrow's port. We're working with the governor's office and the California transportation officials to establish a formal partnership, exploring all options, which could include building a new crossing. I want to personally thank, there we go. Taller, wider, able to handle bigger, cleaner ships. That's the mission. I want to personally thank California Governor Gavin Newsom. His administration has invested in and done more for ports in our state than any other in memory, and we truly appreciate that. Building smarter also means investing in the technology that powers everything we do. The Port Optimizer by Wabtec has been delivering real-time insights for nearly a decade to thousands of our partners. We've added new tools like the Signal, which tracks all imports headed to the port with a 3-week window. That's visibility that no other port in the United States has today. Expanding on that, the Universal Truck Appointment System has already improved gate usage by 20%. For the 20,000 trucks that serve our port. Our truckers are seeing real benefits in reduced wait times and better route selection. Many thanks to our friend Robert Loya at the Harbor Trucking Association for all his support and guidance as we rolled this out. And here's where building smarter also creates building bigger. Thanks to an $8 million California Go Biz grant, we're expanding the Port Optimizer to access appointment data at the Port of Long Beach terminals in the very near future. This grant also supports new CalPorts applications, enabling secure data sharing across the 5 major container ports in California. This is greater reach and greater impact, all driven by smarter technology. And these applications are protected by the nation's first Port Cybersecurity Operations Center. Last year alone, our system blocked more than 820 million intrusion attempts, from network exploitation to malware, ransomware, and phishing schemes. Embracing technology like artificial intelligence gives us yet another edge. AI can process complex scenarios quickly, but when paired with the real-world experience of our people, that's when decision-making becomes truly powerful. Suppose a ship is delayed or a schedule changes. Predictive analytics can map out options in minutes, engaging rail cars, trucks, and labor gangs. Our workforce can combine that data with their expertise and then make the best call. Technology is transformative, but our people, that's where our real competitive advantage still lies. The best investment we can make is in our workforce. And we're doing just that with the Port of Long Beach, the ILWU, PMA, and the California Workforce Development Board to create a new joint workforce training campus. Phase 1 design completion is expected this spring, and we're planning to release the draft EIR in the next several months. When completed, the facility will offer training for jobs in port operations and provide upskilling opportunities for current dock workers in both of our ports. Investing in our workforce is one part of the equation. Strategic partnerships are another. For example, last summer we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Wonderful Company to improve connections with California's Central Valley and bring more American exports through our port. At the heart of the agreement is the Wonderful Logistics Center in the city of Shafter, a 3,400-acre industrial development strategically located along the BNSF Railway's main line. This fast-growing hub already services companies like Amazon, Target, Walmart, and Ross stores, making it a strategic inland gateway for goods moving through our port. With a new rail center planned for this year, a dedicated shuttle train will run between Shafter and our port complex, streamlining the flow of Central Valley exports to global markets. Many thanks to our friends, Stuart and Linda Resnick, for their dedication to California's growers. And John Gwynn is here today from the Wonderful Company. John, great to see you, and thanks for all you're doing for American businesses. We're building regional, national, and global partnerships to power our future, investing in our business, our economy, and in our community. Because the port is more than a hub for global trade. It's a community asset that's shared with our residents and visitors alike. That's the thinking behind the Public Access Investment Plan here at the port. Over the past 2 decades, we've invested $1 billion in the LA waterfront. And today, we reserve 10% of our operating income every year, matched with maintenance dollars for incoming and new public access projects. It's how we ensure that as the port grows economically, we also grow in accessibility, recreation, and community connection. With every project, we prove that when the port succeeds, our neighborhoods thrive. Take the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium, a real jewel on our waterfront. It needed funding for the replacement of its life support system and a major renovation of the Animal Food Preparation Center. Through the Public Access Investment Plan, the port contributed $2.4 million to these crucial upgrades. And this April, the aquarium will celebrate the completion of this project and the reopening of its main exhibit hall. Congratulations to Chrislyn McCarran, Caroline Brady, and the entire aquarium team. And then there's our Community Investment Grant Program, which has provided $14.5 million to more than 400 local nonprofits, building stronger communities, one partnership at a time. Organizations like Clean Wilmington, led by Salvador Lara. Salvador, thank you for all you do. And so many others. The Marine Mammal Care Center, the LA Parks Foundation, Avalon Arts and Cultural Alliance, and the Pacific Battleship Center, just to name a few. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Los Angeles Harbor, Sergio Carrillo, your team's dedication to the youth in our area is simply amazing. Thank you. These are just some of the many community groups we've been fortunate to partner with over the years. Next month, in Wilmington, we'll break ground on the Avalon Pedestrian Bridge, which will link to the new Wilmington Waterfront Promenade. This isn't just about building a bridge. It's building connection and opportunity, giving people safe, direct waterfront access for the very first time. Here in San Pedro, the best example of how public-private partnership is reshaping our waterfront is the West Harbor development. I am so pleased to share that the grand opening is set for this summer. Familiar tenants like the San Pedro Fish Market and Harbor Breeze Cruises will soon be joined by new ones like Hopscotch, Yamashiro, Mike Hess Brewing, and so many more. Neighbors, visitors, and folks working nearby will have more places to gather, eat, and take in the sights and sounds of America's industrial theater. And West Harbor's next phases are moving forward right now, including a 175-foot observation wheel overlooking the harbor and the highly anticipated 6,200-seat open-air amphitheater in collaboration with Nederlander Concerts. We're all so grateful to Jericho Development, Alan and Eric Johnson, for staying the course on this journey and making it happen. We're on the precipice of a new era of the LA waterfront, yet nothing is more high profile than what's coming in just over 2 years. The Port of Los Angeles will be front and center on the world stage as a venue for the 2028 Olympics. Nearly a century after our outer harbor first welcomed sailing in the 1932 games, 6 boating and sailing events will take place on the water just outside these doors. Thank you to the LA 28 Olympic Committee and CEO Reynold Hoover for seeing the value of this harbor community as a global venue. It's really amazing to think how different this waterfront will look, not only for our communities, but for the millions of visitors and cruise passengers who will come through our port. And speaking of cruises, 2025 was a record year here in Los Angeles. We welcomed 241 cruise calls and 1.6 million passengers. And all that business generated more than $300 million in economic benefit to our local communities. And here's a highlight. We welcomed Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas, the largest vessel ever homeported here, accommodating more than 4,900 guests and managed by 1,500 crew members. And 2026 looks even better. Princess Cruises will add 4 calls from its newest and largest ship, the Star Princess. We'll also welcome Virgin Voyages as a new partner line. Our cruise industry is growing fast, and we're building bigger to meet the demand. Today, we're excited to announce the selection of Pacific Cruise terminals to help us transform the outer harbor with a new world-class cruise center. Pacific Cruise Terminals is majority owned by Carrick Inc. in partnership with JLC Infrastructure. Carrick Inc. is one of North America's leading cruise terminal operators with a great track record of developing large-scale infrastructure projects. Together, we'll establish Los Angeles as the primary West Coast gateway for cruising and strengthen our position for decades to come. Just take a look at the plans that Carrick has for our waterfront. Isn't that something? Spectacular. This is an investment in global visibility, local pride, and showing the world what this port and our city can achieve. Building bigger and building smarter only creates lasting value if we're also building sustainably. This brings us to a critical investment in our collective future, the environment. Clean air and sustainable practices are deeply embedded values at the Port of Los Angeles. Thanks to so many of you in this room, we continue to lead on the national and global stages across all areas. And that leadership shows up in three ways: measurable results, innovation here at home, and partnerships around the world. Let's start with the results. In October, we presented the Port's 2024 Air Emissions Inventory, which tracks the progress of the ambitious goals we set, along with the Port of Long Beach, in the landmark Clean Air Action Plan. This is the 20th anniversary of the CAP. It's the longest-running, most detailed port emissions inventory program in the world. Our latest report showed that the Port of Los Angeles has achieved the lowest emissions ever on a per TEU basis. We're moving more cargo than ever before, with the lowest pollution footprint on record for every container shipped. This includes priority pollutants that directly affect our local communities, like diesel particulate matter, and the critical greenhouse gases that impact climate. This is verified proof that efficiency and sustainability are not mutually exclusive, but two sides of the same success story. But of course, there's always more work to do. So let me show you the innovations happening on our terminals right now. Last November, the Twin Ports took a major step forward with the South Coast Air Quality Management District by signing a landmark cooperative agreement. It's a foundational partnership accelerating the infrastructure we need to transition to zero-emission technologies at both of our ports. The agreement includes clear milestones for progress while giving the ports and our tenants the flexibility to tackle the complex transition into a ZE future. I want to thank all the stakeholders who helped us reach consensus on this, from the ILWU and the PMSA to Mayor Bass and Long Beach Mayor Rex Richardson. And it was also the staff at the AQMD that attended every single meeting around the clock to get this done. We at the ports look forward to putting this into action and delivering on our commitments. Across our terminals, the work is already underway. The EPA Clean Ports Grant is moving forward. Together with private funding, this $650 million infusion will bring battery electric, human-operated, zero-emission equipment to our docks, along with new charging stations and 250 ZE drayage trucks. Five of our terminals, Houston, Everport, Trapac, Phoenix, and APMT, are leading the way by already ordering equipment. Thank you for all the work in this area. And here's a first. $50 million of this EPA grant will be overseen by our community for areas they want to target for zero emissions reductions. That's partnership. The same grant will bring shoreside power to Wallenius Wilhelmsen Auto Terminal in Wilmington, one of the West Coast's busiest auto import and export facilities. For the first time, roll-on, roll-off vessels will be able to plug into clean electricity safely while docked. SSA Marine, our highly efficient fruit terminal at Berth 55, has completely converted its fleet of 44 heavy-duty forklifts to battery electric power. It's the first terminal to fully transition to zero-emissions cargo handling equipment here at the Port of Los Angeles. Claudio Biazovich, Regional Vice President for Southern California at SSA Marine, fantastic work, my friend. Thank you. We're also innovating new technologies like inductive charging at the West Basin Container Terminal, where we've been testing wireless systems that will charge cargo handling equipment. And just as we pioneered shoreside power for ships, we're now extending that same thinking to railroads. With funding from the Union Pacific Railroad and another EPA grant, we're also investing in cleaner rail operations. By testing plug-in systems that allow locomotives to draw power directly from the grid, we believe we can further cut emissions, improve air quality, and take another major step toward our zero-emission future. A big shout out to the UP team for all the work they're doing on this and still keeping our cargo moving day in and day out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And thanks to a California Air Resources Board grant, Harbor Breeze Cruises and Catalina Express are gearing up to bring next generation and ZE passenger vessels to our waters. Danny Salas at Harbor Breeze and Greg Bombard at Catalina Express, we appreciate your friendship and dedication. Thank you. By investing in all these technologies, we're proving that the future of clean transport isn't just possible, it's already happening. That brings us to partnerships around the world. Green shipping corridors are moving from vision to action. We remain committed to corridors with China, Singapore, Japan, and Vietnam, deploying zero or low carbon fuels, vessel technologies, and emission tracking systems. Today, I'm pleased to report that the Long Beach, Los Angeles, Shanghai corridor has met all of its Phase 1 milestone commitments, from shoreside power expansion, vessel deployment, and bunkering operations. Corridor projects with other global partners are making similar fast progress. A critical part of this will be the fuels of the future. We're working with partners worldwide to accelerate the transition to cleaner marine fuels, from renewables to synthetics. To support this transition, we began a methanol fueling pilot program in partnership with the Port of Long Beach. This initiative allows us to safely test and develop the systems necessary to provide alternative fuel at scale. It's a critical step toward building fueling infrastructure of tomorrow and ensuring that when the next generation of ships arrives, Los Angeles is ready to serve them. And finally, we all need better data on our environmental investments. Thanks to that California GoBiz grant I mentioned earlier, we're launching the Carbon Intensity Gateway by Wabtec, a digital platform that tracks greenhouse gas emissions. This new tool will make it easier to spot trends, target improvements, and identify which of our programs do the most to protect our environment. All this environmental work we've spotlighted today, the record low emissions, the AQMD agreement, the terminal projects, is an essential part of our collective DNA. No other port complex in the world is tackling these challenges at this pace with this level of success. And I thank you all for being such strong partners in this mission. Thank you. As we move forward, the message is clear. The Port of Los Angeles is investing in the future, investing in expansion, infrastructure, and analytics, in jobs and workforce development, in our communities and our waterfront, and in our environment and sustainability. For more than a century, we faced challenge after challenge, and each time we've emerged stronger. Now, as we near 120 years of America's Port, we do so with confidence that our best days are still ahead, because we know what it takes to lead in the 21st century. Bigger capacity, smarter operations, bold sustainability, and a commitment to build all this together. Friends, colleagues, partners, welcome to our future. Thank you all, and here's to reaching new heights at the Port of Los Angeles.